What's going on, guys? By now most of you guys know that there's been this big trend going on around YouTube where someone will explain an iceberg about a certain topic. Today I'll be covering an iceberg about the video game Apex Legends. In case some of you are not familiar with Apex Legends, it is a free-to-play hero battle royale shooter. An iceberg, for those of you who don't know, is a picture that divides knowledge of a certain topic into layers. The top of the iceberg is commonly known topics, and the more you go down the iceberg, the lesser known the topics are. Now, let's not waste any time, and let's start at the... Wattson x Octane cutscene. This entry refers to the Season 2 Battle Charge launch trailer. In this trailer, Wattson, who was the new character introduced in Season 2, helps Octane get up. Now in the original trailer, Wattson helps Octane up and it cuts to another scene. However, there is a deleted scene where after Wattson helps Octane up, they hold eye contact, and Wattson looks kinda... But yeah, this scene ended up not making the final cut for the trailer. Ash is Dr. Reed. Ash was an Apex Predator in Titanfall 2. There was no real backstory for her up until the story from the Outlands video titled Promise, released just before Season 7. In this video, we learn that Horizon's partner on her mission is the human version of Ash. Her human name was Dr. Ashley Reed, and she worked with Horizon, eventually betraying her. She later died in the story from the Outlands titled Ashes to Ashes, and became the simulacrum known as Ash. The Hidden Nessies. The Hidden Nessies are a set of 10 Nessies that are hidden around Kings Canyon. Once all are found in a match, a massive Nessie spawns out of the water. There are also secret Nessies in the new firing range, and you can find all of them to get an Easter egg. All Battle Royale maps also have Nessies hidden within them too. Rare Octane animations. This entry is about the rare Octane animations that you can get triggered after using his tactical ability. There are 3 rare animations that have a chance of happening after you use a stim. Archer lives on in Bloodhound's Raven. Archer was the uncle of Bloodhound who died during a Goliath attack on their village, as seen in the story from the Outlands, The Old Ways. He is Bloodhound's main mentor and family, and in his memory, Bloodhound christened his Raven as Arthur. This Raven is the same one as the in-game Raven that we see. Forge is now a simulacrum. This entry is about how Forge, the Season 4 legend that got killed and replaced by Revenant, could still be alive and return to the games as a simulacrum. Fan art about this was spread online after Forge's death, however Respawn confirmed that he was 100% dead. I think it is very unlikely for him to come back as a simulacrum. UW. Boss Quentin Willis was a mercenary syndicate official. To keep things short, he was a man who hired Crypto and his sister to develop cameras for the games, but once Crypto and his sister found the algorithm to the Apex games, he sent his men to abduct them. This is seen in the Forever Family story from the Outlands. He's also mentioned in the Fight Night story from the Outlands. Big Sister. Big Sister is the leader of the Gaia-based gang The Sisters, specializing in weapons modding and fixing competitions for profit. In 2733, she ordered Ramya Parek, who is Rampart, who had associated with her gang, to purposefully lose a gauntlet match. However, Rampart refused. After Rampart won the match, Big Sister sent many of her lieutenants to confront Rampart at her shop. After the skirmish, Big Sister presented herself and provided a distraction for her goons to gain the upper hand and knock out Parek. After this, she burned Rampart's shop to the ground. Newcastle, Jackson is still alive. I combine these 2 entries because they relate to each other. So basically, Jackson Williams is Anita Williams / Bangalore's brother. Respawn dropped a few hints of the new character for Season 13, and the legend in these teasers looked like Jackson Williams, so people theorized that the new legend was him. This ended up being true, and Newcastle came out in Season 13. The Distant Ship Targets. The Distant Ship Targets refers to a set of targets in the old firing range. If you aimed at a certain spot in the distance, there is a big ship with targets on it. That's it. Mini Marvin. The only thing I could find about this entry is the Mini Marvin charm introduced in the Season 11 store and the Bronze Beast bonus bundle. The OP also told me that there might have been one in the old firing range, but I have no idea if this is true. Gods is/are real. This entry could be referring to two items. First, Revenant has a lot of skins that deal with gods, including the legendary skin Ra Fury. Ra is believed to be the first pharaoh of Egypt and is also believed to be the god of the sun, order, kings, and the sky. So maybe this entry is trying to say that Revenant is a god of some sort, I don't know. Second, Bloodhound calls out to the gods in his voice lines a lot. He believes in the Norse gods which guide him. The OP said both Revenant and Bloodhound seem to use abilities brought on by gods, the Allfather for example, which implies that they are real. Hidden Puppy. Around World's Edge, there are a few places where you can find pictures of the Apex devs' dogs. There is also one on Olympus and one stuffed dog in the old firing range. I think they are also pictures of the devs' dead dogs, although this might be false. Davis and Draws are Mirage's relatives. Davis and Draws are shown in Titanfall 2 as the leaders of the Last Resort. The Last Resort are a mercenary faction operating on the frontier, led by the former 6'4 mercenaries Davis and Draws. The Last Resort, while appearing in Titanfall 2's multiplayer, are not selectable outside of the frontier defense. In an in-game Easter egg phone call, Evelyn Witt, who is Mirage's mother, talks about Davis and Draws as Mirage's uncles. This confirms that Davis and Draws are Mirage's relatives. Human-sized Nessie. This entry refers to the Nessie Easter egg mentioned previously, where the massive Nessie spawns out of the water after you find all of the Nessies hidden around the King's Canyon map. There are also 6-inch Nessies that you can buy on the Apex Legends store, which I really want to get one. Revenant and Ra. The Revenant and Ra entry is about the same thing that I have already mentioned. The Ra Fury legendary Revenant skin resembles the Egyptian god Ra. Revenant is a Naruto fan. During one of Revenant's old Ultimate animations, he would do a hand sign thingy. It is based off of Ito Tensei's hand signs from the show Naruto. This animation was very rare, however, so if you got it, consider yourself lucky. I probably just butchered all of their names, by the way. The training dummies are alive. This entry is about an Easter egg in the old firing range. After activating this Easter egg, the dummies would come alive and shoot at you. They would also move around the firing range to find you. This is also a feature integrated into the new firing range. Why have stands if there are no spectators? I'm like 99% sure on this one, so here it is. In the old firing range, and also the Thunderdome in King's Canyon, there were stands for spectators to sit and watch the Apex games. There are probably supposed to be fans there watching, but including actual fans would have taken up too many resources on an already resource-heavy game. It is also such a minor detail that nobody would have really noticed, so I guess the choice to not include them makes sense. That is why there are/were stands with no spectators. The hidden Thunderdome structure. For this entry, I asked the OP and he said, quote, "The hidden Thunderdome structure was in the old original training range as well. Using a glitch, you can no-clip out of the map and get underneath it, where we discovered that one of the structures was the entire structure from the Thunderdome, but only the top quarter was visible." The Revenant Cult. So apparently in the Apex Legends book called Pathfinder's Quest by Tom Casillo, there is a section that mentions a cult that Revenant was a part of. Now, I'm taking this straight off of Reddit since I haven't read the book, but someone said that in the book, the death cult of 2658 is mentioned, and that the people in the cult praise Revenant as a messiah. He found them really annoying, however, and in a conversation between him and Pathfinder, he briefly believes Pathfinder to be a part of said death cult and a hilarious mix-up. So let me know in the comments if you know anything about this entry, because to me it's very interesting. Revenant is corrupted. There's little to no substance about this entry. However, and the weeks leading up to Season 18, if you played Revenant, you could get an animation where he looks corrupted, kind of. This was a teaser for Revenant Reborn, who would be introduced in the next season, Season 19. Crypto's real age. Originally, Crypto lied about his identity to everyone in the Apex games so that he could get into the games. This means that he lied about his age. In a lore video titled Reflections, we find out that Crypto's real age is around 22 instead of 31. Here's an image by Kev the King 99 explaining the situation. Pause to read if you want to. Heinrich Hammond is alive. For this entry, I'll just put up a screenshot of what I could find on Reddit about this. It's really long to explain, but the gist of it is that we don't know if Heinrich Hammond is alive or dead. His disappearance is still a mystery, I guess. Caustic's deleted racism. In Season 6 of Apex Legends, a voice line that Caustic would say got removed. It goes as follows.
This isn't over. You'll regret the day you crossed me. This isn't over, gutter rat. You'll regret the day you crossed me, gutter rat.
This was removed because gutter rat could be seen as a slur, which was offensive to some people. Mirage decoys can think. Mirage was one of the 8 legends that the game launched with. Since then, his tactical with his decoys has been changed many times. Most of the time, the decoys become more player-like by copying the actual inputs of the player. This has brought up the question if the decoys can think, which is just not true. Wraith's hidden Naruto run. From the game's launch until October 6 of 2020, Wraith's running animation was the same run that Naruto does. This got changed after the Aftermarket Collection event in Season 6 went live, due to the animation making her hitbox smaller. Help Me heard from under Skyhook. Since World's Edge launched back in Season 3 until now, there have been many unintelligible screams and screeches heard throughout the Skyhook area. While most of these sounds are probably prowlers, some players have said that there are also some screams that sound like someone is saying, "Help me." Game controller inside Rampart. Rampart has a game controller inside of her little armor area. That's it. Crypto's drone says, "Don't let them." While playing Crypto, if you use his drone and go into the drone view, there's a very quiet whisper. If you amplify the audio, you can hear what seems to be someone saying the phrase. Who this is or why this happens is still unclear. The unreachable cube. In the old firing range, if you looked out of bounds with Horizon's tactical, you could find an unreachable cube. The purpose of this cube was most likely just for scaling, and someone forgot to remove it. Revenant wearing a literal skin suit. The only thing that I could find surrounding this entry was an old Reddit post about a skin concept of Revenant wearing a, well, whatever this is. This is from the OP, so, quote, however you say that, was one of the gun skin translations for the Prowler, I think, but I put it on there because it sounded cool and no one had ever typed it before. The unkillable target. This is from the OP, so quote, the unkillable target was another training range thing we found. It was a target that was under the map but couldn't be shot or interacted with. There was also one in the distance by the giant ship that was previously mentioned. World's Edge's Yeti. Similar to the previous Help Me heard from under Skyhook entry, there are also noises that sound similar to that of a Yeti or another creature. The sounds are very distinct and do not sound like a Prowler at all. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know that most of these were probably making something out of nothing, but it was still fun to research and teach you guys about these lesser known items of Apex history. Please let me know in the comments if you guys would like a second iceberg video, because this iceberg was very, very small and I used it to save time, but since it is summer, I do have more time for this massive other iceberg, or any other iceberg you want me to cover. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.